Hey there gamers, welcome back to the YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about FromSoftware boss runbacks. The top 10 in fact, because 10 is just such a nice number. It's how many times you should press the like button. Now to keep this fair and balanced, I wanted to talk about at least one runback from each of the mainstream games. I will not be talking about Kingsfield, okay? That game looks like it might just come with a pre-installed virus. Gonna have to install it from a non-specific Google Drive. Now some games may just have some more runbacks in this top 10 worst runbacks than normal for no particular reason. So sit back, relax, that is required. You cannot watch this while you are stressed. Go clean the dishes. I know you haven't done it yet, Gregory. Coming in at number 10, Armored Warrior. Sekiro is a game that's kind of difficult to talk about runbacks because of one little thing. You have a fucking grappling hook. Ordinarily, runbacks are kind of in the name. You run from point A to point B. You kind of don't need to run back when the grappling hook just kind of covers the distance. And most of the time, the fucking bonfire is right next to the boss. This is like the only game where it is genuinely difficult to find a terrible runback. Armored Warrior is here because it takes like 15 seconds instead of maybe 10 seconds to get to the boss. At most, you just have to grapple to the ledge and then walk on the bridge. It's not that bad. I don't know, if you wanted more of a challenge, you could say hello to the goddamn mountain gnomes, but I personally would not. They're more of a fan of WWE wrestling and they want to turn my spine into cannoli. Coming in at number 9, it's Rennala, Queen of the Preschool. This runback is slightly annoying and introduces us to one of our main reoccurring themes within these runbacks. That's right, it's a goddamn elevator ride. Now, Elden Ring ordinarily has a lot of bonfires. They're fucking everywhere, and usually just outside of the boss gate. But for whatever reason, this one is the closest one is a goddamn mile away. You have to go traverse through the cryptic garden, up the bowling alley, past the finest carrion simp, and then you have to go up a goddamn elevator. Make sure you remember to send it back down again. Overall, not the worst, not even close, but at least the scenery's nice. Coming in at number 8, we have Micolash, the host of the nightmare. You might be thinking, Nene, the boss runback isn't too bad. It's not the worst in the world, and I would say you are correct. The runback itself is not the worst part. But the problem, the entire fight is a goddamn runback. You have to chase his ass, not only to get to the room, but through the rooms. You have to run back until he gets to a specific point. Then you get the ability, the brief ability to hit him once or twice. Then he goes again, and then you have to chase him yet again. It's a goddamn catastrophe. And then coming in at number 7, we have King Allant from Demon's Souls. I forget there's an S half the time. Now, we mentioned elevators before, but this is one of the goddamn kings of the elevator. In fact, if this was a horizontal runback, it would take you about 5 seconds, but the problem, this one's goddamn vertical. And every time I played this game, I remember the pain, because this is genuinely one of the longest elevator rides to any boss ever. It's close to an actual minute. You could go downstairs, make a sandwich, and come back, and you'd still be on that thing. If hell was an elevator, this would be it. This is the elevator. Coming in at number 6, it's Dragon Slayer armor, and it just keeps going with the theme. On the surface, it feels short, just like myself, until you realize you go 5 feet out and you get hit with Cathedral Knights, the homeless buffing the knights, chasing you all the way to the elevators, which they're kind of slow. This runback is just frustrating. I am heavily biased. I do not like elevators in these games. Coming in at number 5, Flamelurker. Flamelurker is a time. I don't think there are elevators here, but there might as well be with the amount of depth you have to descend. This runback is a goddamn chore. You're always going to be taking damage. There's gremlins everywhere. And then you've got to go through the final bits where there are just fire caterpillars. They are stronger than they look. Also, it's dark as shit. I cannot see anything. Coming in at number 4. 4 Kings. Just like the fight, the runback is just as long. But what does it actually entail? 4 Kings is located in New Londo, which is just in the basement for some reason. This is, I genuinely think, the only location in the entire game without a bonfire. The closest one is Firelink's Shrine. I'm not kidding. And what does that mean? Not only are we taking one long-ass elevator, make sure to send it back up again, otherwise, that's right, you're spending even more time in the runback. You have to cross the goddamn lake. Make sure not to fall in, because that too is instant death. You can't swim. Everyone knows this. Once you die, you lose the ability to be buoyant. Then it's through the goddamn Luigi's Mansion level, where you can't actually hit the enemies unless you have the specific item. You have to consume their hands. You are throwing their hands back at them. Make sure not to run into the cultists. They're everywhere and they are stronger than you. Do not fight them. Otherwise you will risk getting the greatest suck of your life. And then all you gotta do is go down the deep, dark, innocuous staircase or well, which is also pretty goddamn lengthy. Now you could risk it all by just jumping all the way down, but if you jump down, that might work. But if you clip anything at all whatsoever while you're falling, congratulations, that's death, and it's through the goddamn ghost house yet again. This runback is genuinely annoying, but it is not the worst Dark Souls one in this list, nor is it the last. Coming in at number 3, Dark Souls is not done yet because we've got Seath the Dickless. He also has no scales. He was shunned by his race. This do be what genocide does for a motherfucker. Seath's fight, I think, is one of the more infamous runbacks on this entire list because it is one of the longest. Now, granted, there are no elevators here. They were in the previous section. This is arguably worse because not only is it close to 2 minutes of just constant running, no bonfire in between. This one is the closest. Once you reach the crystal cave after skillfully dodging all the golems in the area, congratulations, you now just have to get to them. Just get from point A to point B. What do you mean you can't see the floor? That's right. The entire floor is invisible. For the most part, it is just a straight line. However, the piss golem does kind of make that a little challenging sometimes. And then, let's say you make it to the end. Congratulations, you've got to deal with the clams. They are there and they want your skull to add to their collection. They are stronger than you. Do not fight them. This would genuinely be one of the worst runbacks in Dark Souls. And this would be the worst runback in Dark Souls 1, but there is one more that is worse. That's right, coming in at number 2, final runback worth mentioning from Dark Souls 1 that is just goddamn atrocious. Bed of Chaos. Now, this boss is already infamous for making me question my sanity. Runback feels goddamn targeted. You have to go through the coolest Australian summer to get through it. You have to sacrifice a ring slot just to attempt this runback, so it's already kinda bad, kinda ass. And then you gotta go dodge the ball sack of demons because, of course, they're then the fucking abomination on the staircase. You can get clipped on the staircase, not all the stairs work the same. And the final stretch, there's just a fucking goddamn wizard here who's there to send you back to hell. Which is weird because I thought we were already here. Not to mention, I would consider the fight itself to be a little bit of a runback because you still have to run to hit the boss, which is a little bit difficult when the floor fucking does that. Really makes me hate gravity in these games. Coming in at number 1, and it genuinely wasn't even close. I'm not even gonna lie. There is one game that I have not mentioned yet, and that's right, it's Dark Souls 2. Now, I love Dark Souls 2. It is one of my favorite ones, but this makes it very difficult. Because coming in at number 1 is the Smelter Demon Blue Gatorade Edition. If you remember the red Smelter Demon, congratulations, this is the blue one. He's just blue, but we're not talking about him, we're talking about getting to him. To reach him, all you gotta do is go down a few holes and just run past a few enemies. Pretty simple. Ordinarily, it's not as long as Seath the Genocidal Maniac, it's not as time consuming as going up an elevator to King Allant. So why is this at number 1? The enemies make this runback a goddamn hassle. Now, there are 2 ways you could go. You could go all the way up or down below. Whichever way you go, nobody knows except me. I know. I'm in your walls. You cannot hide from me. I will catch you. You might think, oh, it's better to go up to avoid all the enemies down below, but you would be mistaken because up is challenging. Very insta-killy gimmicks there, so you're left with going down below if you genuinely want to reach the boss on time. However, the enemies don't respect your time and just slow you the fuck down. They just reduce your speed by like 80%. It's like walking through a swamp. They don't slow down any other enemies, which means the guys that can ordinarily whoop your ass, they can just hit you pretty easily. And they can also follow you down the holes pretty easily. All of this combined makes this runback an absolute nightmare. Now, luckily this is an optional boss, however, I am a completionist, so this runback was absolutely mandatory. Do not want to do the 100% achievement again. You cannot make me. These runbacks will live in my nightmares rent-free, especially the elevators. That's it, that's all the content. And let me know if you have any personal atrocities that you'd like to talk about in the comments when it comes to these runbacks. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next original YouTube video.